Hi, hello, this is Kubeir. Welcome to the channel. Uh, I am joining you live today from the beautiful city of Quebec. And I've been always wanting to come here during the Christmas season because just because the vibe. And thankfully, I was able to do it this time and got here last night with a 10-hour drive with a bit of a stop. And the first night by itself was amazing. So that's where I am at this point of time. And so please excuse my background. Please excuse a bit of, yeah, uh, just excuse a bit of noise if you hear that. What are we going to do today? We're going to talk about a few things today. This is our Saturday morning live Canadian Immigration Roundup. We're going to talk about, as usual, whatever has happened in the week with regards to the PNP draws, with regards to anything else that has happened. Plus, we would also talk about a few other things, including the most recent mandate letter that was issued to the immigration minister by the Prime Minister. And as and how we go about it, we will also talk about a few other things that have happened in terms of the biometrics, in terms of business immigration options, etc., etc. And then we will round it up with some question and answers. So let's get started. Starting with the quote of the week, the way I see it, if you want the rainbow, you got to put up with the rain, said Dolly Parton. Very intelligent quote there. If you really want to see the fruit of the labor, you got to first put in the labor, right? At least that's the way you should look at it. Canadian Immigration Weekly Roundup. That's how you would want to stay up to date on immigration news and trends. Follow us on our various platforms. We are on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and also TikTok now. Well, today's topics of discussion, again, the latest PNPs as and how the draws have happened and anything else that's concerning them. We'll see what the other news is, and then we will get on with the question and answers. Starting with the provincial nominee programs. The first off, the last draw for Prince Edward Islands happened on the 16th. 125 candidates were invited with the latest PNP draw. 114 were issued to the ExpressEntry and the labor impact candidates. Now, in order to be considered for a draw with Prince Edward Islands, you need to create an expression of interest on their portal. And if they find your profile to be of interest, then they would invite you. However, mind you, very rarely do they invite people from outside the province or who do not have a direct link or connection to the province. So, I mean, we've been saying this all along. So while a lot of consultants, agents, lawyers outside or wherever would try and sort of, show you this as a possible pathway, you should be aware that this is a very difficult pathway to sort of get into. So when I'm saying very difficult pathway, in the sense, like, because you just don't get invited. Prince Edward Islands is the smallest province. Their quotas are the smallest, and they obviously want to give more importance to people who are currently in Canada at that point of time. So that's what Prince Edward is about. British Columbia, I keep calling them the usual suspect. 71 tech workers were invited to apply for PNP on the 14th of December. The candidates who received the invitation in this draw were from the skilled worker and international graduate subcategories and needed a minimum score of 80, which honestly is quite low considering how quickly you can score 80. But for British Columbia, for most of the streams, you need to have a job offer from an employer in the province. And I think international graduate category could only be one where you don't need a job offer as such. As of right now, British Columbia has issued 12,000 invitations, which is also pretty cool. In the other news, ExpressEntry Report, which is an annual thing, was issued. So it was a year-end report for 2020, which was released in December 13. So yes, it gets released 1 year later because obviously there's so much of data to collate. There is so much of data to sort of get together with. I mean, it did not spring up anything which we didn't already know. We already knew that Canada did not meet its immigration target for 2020. They were shot by nearly 48%. We also know that Indians tend to sort of, have the highest share of the ITAs that were issued. Again, nothing new was the fact that 2173, knock code 2173, was the most popular knock code amongst people who received their invitations. We also noticed that Canada was the country of residence for people who received ITA. The most number of people who received ITAs, the country of residence was Canada. Second was India. I mean, again, no surprises there. Apart from that, I mean, yeah, it did not really throw anything, which we would have called, oh wow, this we didn't know. The top three countries at this point of time from where the people are looking to immigrate to Canada or receiving their invitations are India, China, and Nigeria. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, nothing surprising, nothing off the bat that was thrown up there. The good news on the other side of things is that Canada has finally lifted its ban on the 10 countries in Africa, and this is effective of 11:59 p.m., which would be today, 18th of December. And obviously, they got a lot of criticism, internal and international, for putting that ban in the first place. It never made sense, but I mean, then but it also is something to debate whether the countries should or should not be more cautious in the way they apply their restrictions. But in this particular case, it definitely did not seem reasonable to apply those bans to 10 countries. But anyways, so the good thing is that there is no longer a ban, and this ban has been lifted, and it is effective 18th of December, which is tonight at 11:59 p.m. So as of right now, there is no ban from any country for any kind of travel to Canada at this point of time, right? So that's the most important bit. But again, this is a developing thing. Omicron, as now they call it. I mean, I still haven't got the pronunciation right. I'm not sure how Omicron or Omicron, whatever that is. So yeah, that's still a developing story. So we'll have to wait and watch. Canada immigration numbers. Now, as we all know, this year's target for landed immigrants is 401,000. And over the last 2 or 3 months, the processing speed has really gone up, whereas TR2 PRs are being finalized very quickly. The CEC candidates are being finalized very quickly, and all of them have been receiving their portal requests. And that is mainly because they have to want to get to that 401. The figure of 401 is something which is like really tick-tocking in the visa offices across Canada. And in order to achieve that, they did get the largest number of immigrants landed in November, 47,000 of them. As of now, Canada has landed 361,000 immigrants until now. And this basically puts them very much on track to meet their target for 401,000. Of the people who have been landing, or rather their landing has been processed, it is mainly people who, as I said, were given virtual, or rather whose virtual landings were processed so they could get their electronic COPRs, and the process is much more seamless and streamlined by now. So that worked very well. Okay, what else have we got? Atlantic program. Now, there was so much of speculation about the Atlantic immigration pilot program, right? Where is it closing? Is it closing? Is it closing? And we've been saying this for a very long time, guys. It is not closing. It has become permanent. And the pilot, so pilot is basically an experimental program. So it used to be called AIPP, Atlantic Immigration Pilot Program. Pilot meaning experimental. So that had to close. That had to come to an end. Okay, so effective 31st of December, AIPP will come to an end. So there will be no longer any AIPP. If you do have your endorsements already received, you will still be able to complete your applications. Even until Feb, you will be able to finalize your application. So that is not a problem. So AIPP is now becoming AIP. So they have removed the pilot from it. It's now called Atlantic Immigration Program. And this is now the permanent program in place of AIPP, and this is effective 1st of January. The applications for this will start accepting the applications from the 6th of March. As of now, no changes have been announced, so there is no significant changes in the program. Mind you, regardless of what anybody tells you, AIPP, or rather AIP now, you will still need a job offer. So this is an employer-driven program. So you always need a job offer with these programs, and this is no different. The only good thing with this program is that the requirement of IELTS is almost, CLB4, CLB5. The requirement of education, you could have a high school diploma and you could be eligible. The requirement of work experience is just 1 year of eligible work experience. And age is also absolutely no restriction as such with the age. So with all of that, it's a great program. But as I said, the biggest factor being that you need to be able to achieve, or rather you need to be able to secure a job offer from an employer in Canada. If you're able to do that, then this becomes quite nice to sort of have. Okay, what else have we got? Immigration priorities. Well, as we have already made a video on that and we discussed this in detail, that a mandate letter was issued to Sean Fraser as the immigration minister, which is something which is quite normal, which they do. And the prime minister would usually lay out the priorities or the guidelines for what the leadership would want the individual ministries to follow, or to sort of have an overview of, or to have a list of priorities for. So this was the mandate letter that was issued, and in this, several aspects, there were 13 big points that were identified, but I think 4 or 5 would apply, or rather would be of interest to most of us. In this, the new immigration mandate letter, the priorities that basically talked about were application processing, which I think affects everybody. Obviously, there were changes indicated in the express entry for the international students and foreign workers. It spoke about the family reunification. It spoke about creating a new municipal nominee program, waiving Canadian Citizenship Application Fee, which is quite a big thing because that directly affects the vote bank. Establishing a trusted employer portal, pathways for the undocumented workers, and also improving the Francophone immigration to Canada, and of course the Afghan refugees. So a lot of points there that were indicated. Well, that's basically the presentation that I have today. Obviously, we have so many other things to talk about, which we will get on with. So yeah, if you still haven't connected with us, then the Instagram, So if you're not following us on Instagram, then that's absolutely the link. You have to get to that. And if you are on TikTok, then obviously connect with us on TikTok there as well. Okay, so let's talk about other things now. The first thing that I want to talk to you about is this. I do not know how many of you are aware that recently it had become really, really difficult to get an appointment for biometrics if you are specifically in India. And in order to secure one, because you couldn't get one, you had to contact some of these agents and brokers who are charging anywhere between 10,000 to 30,000 rupees to get your biometrics appointment. Nothing was being done about it, but yeah, we did sort of raise a small storm on Twitter. A lot of us did. A lot of you did help with that as well. And I'm not saying that is what got their attention, but with a lot of lobbying by the law group, by a lot of lawyers, by consultants, and even the CAPIC in their stakeholder meetings brought this up again and again and again. And thankfully, finally, they have taken action on it, and they have gone back to booking your biometrics appointment using a web form. So you'll have to raise a web form, send it to VFS, and they will then be able to issue your biometrics appointment depending on your application. People who already have secured an appointment through their online system will obviously those appointments will be honored, but going forward they will have no longer that online system, thankfully. So all those touts and all those agents and all those brokers who are charging all these ridiculous exorbitant money, well, goodbye. We no longer need you. Your services are no longer required. Get out of here. Okay. What else have we got? Yes, I want to talk to you about this as well. Ontario Business Immigration Stream. This stream has just recently been announced. Now, I know Ontario already has an business immigration stream. They have an entrepreneur stream. And the criteria with the entrepreneur stream with Ontario is that if you wish to start a business inside the GTA area, you need to have a $600,000 net worth. If you are having outside the GTA area, you need to have a net worth of $400,000. If you wish to have a business outside GTA, you need to invest $200,000. If you wish to have a business inside GTA, you need to have investment of $400,000. So that is the existing program already. Oops, okay, this is already the existing program that is ongoing, that is absolutely running at this point of time. You obviously will need to create an expression of interest. You will need to have a business plan. You will obviously need to indicate what kind of business you will be starting, and you will also need to indicate how many employees or what kind of an employment you will be created. So what is different with this new program that they are talking about? As of right now, the criteria or the details have not been announced. But you see, the existing entrepreneur system or the entrepreneur program, you will first create an expression of interest. If they accept it, they will then endorse you for a work permit. Once you get the work permit, you come to Canada, you start your business, and from there on, once you've started your business, you will be audited. Once you're audited, everything is fine. Then you will be getting the nomination. Then you're applying for the PR. But from the initial news that came out, and the Minister of Labour of Ontario announced this, that they are looking to restart or re-energize or re-strategize this existing program. So this stream that they're talking about already exists. It was started by the Liberals in 2015. And so far only two people were successful in receiving their nomination through this particular program. And this program talks about only investing $200,000 or more. If you want, obviously, you could buy a new business, or you could start a new business, or you could purchase an existing business, and that should basically be considered as an eligibility for your nomination. I'm 100% sure there would be some other criteria as well. It's just that hasn't been announced. We are looking forward to January as to when they have indicated that this program details will be published. So that is something which you want to keep an eye on, because they have capped a limit to only 100 applicants, or only 100 people for this particular stream, and this stream will run for 2 years. So again, if there is an existing program, why do you have this one? And if the program requirement is almost the same, what is this going to be doing different? And why a cap of only 100 people over a span of 2 years? So a lot of questions there. But at the same time, the fact that it is mentioned that they want to sort of expedite, because this is going to help with the pathway to recovery after this COVID pandemic, and also with the fact that this will infuse $20 million or more within the economy for Ontario, and obviously create more jobs. So with that in mind, I think this may have a very faster processing, probably will have lesser criteria, but the requirement is of only for 100 people. So if you're one of those who might be interested, you probably will have to sort of make sure you're ready to get on the train as soon as it is announced. What else have I got? Yes, let's talk about this. This is an important one. Immigration mandate letter, the hits and the misses. Well, obviously, all of you are by now already aware that the mandate letter was issued. It was a big deal. It's always a big deal. Why is it a big deal? And if you go back to the mandate letter that was issued to the Minister Mendicino, to Marco Mendicino, it was issued in January 2021, early this year. And if you see what was mentioned over there, you will realize that that is exactly what happened in this year. So that was the priority that was given. That was the overview of the guidance pathway that was shown to the immigration minister. And that is the direction that the minister went. So while we give a lot of flack, while we sort of, while the immigration minister gets a lot of, bad press or negativity in a lot of manner, but it's the direction that has been decided by the leadership. And the immigration minister is obligated to follow that priority that has been assigned to him. So if you look at the 2021 mandate letter that was given earlier this year in January, you will see that that is exactly what happened, or almost within that range is what happened. So if the mandate letter you see now, which has 13 points, and then if you look at those points, then you will realize that this is pretty much what immigration is going to do moving forward. So it's not going to go very far away from what is being said. Yes, of course, there could be delays in executing some of the factors. There could be some delays or some sort of hiccups in executing or putting into place some of the points, but this is pretty much the direction they will be taking. Now, hits and misses that I have. Well, it spoke about the changes. So basically, four or five which are very, very crucial, or something which we are very interested in. One was the citizenship fee. The application fee is going to be waived off. So yeah, if you're new, you haven't even got your ITA, you're not interested in this. But for people who are going to become permanent residents, or who already are permanent residents, it's very important for them. As of right now, $630 is charged as the citizenship application fee. So they are looking to make that free. This was promised also in 2019 campaign and as part of the election campaign. So this is pretty much something which they will definitely be looking to doing this year, is to waiving off the citizenship application fee, which, if you're a family of two, family of three, family of four, but I know for the children it's much less. It's only, I think, $100 or something. But yeah, it does add up. So it's a cost which sort of helps you get with your process faster. But more importantly, what has been indicated was to reduce the application processing timing. So that is something which affects everybody. So whether you are a visitor to Canada, whether you have applied for spouse open work permit, whether you applied for study permit application, whether you applied for express entry application, whether you applied for a Quebec skilled worker program, whether you applied for Quebec immigration program, whether you applied for provincial nominee program, paper application, there is so many of you. I mean, there are less people who are happy with the process, but probably the CECs and the TR to PRs would be happy because their application was processed faster. But even amongst them, there are so many whose application is taking time. But largely, everybody has been plagued by the delays, and the delays which were first attributed to the COVID pandemic, then to the Hong Kong crisis, and then to now recently to the Afghan crisis. And it seems that there is always something which is holding IRCC back in providing the client service that they should be providing. Everybody has been raising questions with regards to the quality of client service that you call. So basically, if you're making an immigration application, you become a client of IRCC, right? And the service that they're providing you, there should be some SLA, service level agreement, as to understanding what kind of client service they will provide. And as of right now, it's been nothing but horrible, because you don't have clarity. You don't know what exactly is happening. Even if your application is refused, you do not know why it is refused, except for a very generic reason: you will not return back from Canada. That's all it says. I mean, what exactly was it that bothered the visa officer? You don't know that. So there are so many of these aspects which do not, as a client, it does not give you that great experience that you wanted from, typically a first world country, and such a big department as IRCC. So that has, again, as I said, has been indicated as a top priority. It's actually number one on the list, which says that the application processing times should be, reduced. Typically, the applications that have been affected by the COVID pandemic. Just a day before that, Chrystia Freeland, who's the Finance Minister of Canada, also announced that they are infusing additional funding just to manage these processing backlogs. They spoke about $85 million as a one-time budget that they have been allocated to sort of take care of this. Not only that, earlier they had also assigned $750 million in digitizing the whole immigration systems. They want to do away with the GCMS system that they use right now. They want to sort of make the whole platform much more user-friendly and better, so you have better understanding of what's happening with your application. But all that is in the making. It will take time. I mean, obviously, already a lot of you have seen differences in certain aspects. So, for example, if you are applying for a spousal sponsorship application, you can apply online as well. I don't prefer applying online for the spousal applications, only because of the kind of documentation that go into it and the limitations that the online system has. But it is available for you if you want to use it. Visit visas, there is a new portal already. Study permit applications can also be applied through the same new portal. There are no forms to be uploaded here. You will simply enter all the information, and thankfully the system is able to pick up that information and help you process your applications faster. So they're already doing, even permanent resident PR applications, which are paper applications, you can now submit them online. So they are digitizing it. As of right now, I haven't seen any significant difference in terms of timelines, that if you are using an online system, does it make it faster, etc. So that is still something which is lacking. So application processing timing is something which is a hit for me. I just hope that they absolutely put that on express priority rather than any. I mean, the day after the mandate letter was issued, Sean Fraser came out with the announcement that Atlantic immigration pilot will become permanent. Well, that's great, because that was also part of the mandate letter, that they would formalize AIP as a permanent program. They would make RNIP, which is Rural Northern Immigration Pilot Program, a bit more, push that a bit forward to increase the number of communities there. They're going to launch a new program called Municipal and Nominee Program, so basically you have provincial nominee programs, then you have community level or the regional level Atlantic Immigration Pilot Program, then you have the regional level RNIP, Rural Northern Immigration Pilot Program. Now they're even going to come down to the absolute ground level and come to the municipal nominee program. This is also going to be the employer driven, whereby employers would be able to identify suitable candidates and then go back to their municipalities and have them endorse it. As of right now, RNIP has not been a hit. It's not a success at all. One of the reasons being because they only have 2,000 quota. I mean, the quota is only 2,000 spread over 11 communities, basically giving them not too much of leeway. That is the first thing. Secondly, RNIP by itself has its criterias, has its requirements. But in addition to that, each community has gone and placed further more restrictions and requirements and all kinds of challenges and hurdles, making it so much more difficult to people to be eligible, to be qualified, and then be able to get an endorsement and then get to apply. So it's been more of a miss for me, the whole RNIP program, and I just hope MNP doesn't go the same way, as a municipal nominee program doesn't go the same way, whereas creating so many challenges that a person just cannot get through in the sense of the program. So yes, having a job offer is fine, but it needs to be more streamlined and much more simpler in the whole process. Another important one is that all of us are interested, but I think it's a miss more than a hit. And that is the changes in the express entry system for the international students and the foreign workers. While it's a good thing that Canada is trying to encourage or rather give more pathways. So they are talking about expanding the pathways within the express entry system. So mind you, they're not talking about TR to PR. Okay, TR to PR basically is for a lot of NOC codes that were otherwise ineligible in express entry. Okay, so there's a big difference there. In TR to PR, I'm not saying all NOC codes, I'm saying a lot of NOC codes were otherwise ineligible in express entry. And under the TR to PR, they absolutely had the international graduate stream, where as long as you had graduated with a 2-year program and a master's degree and you were working, did not matter what job you were able to apply. But this mandate speaks about the pathways or expansion of pathways within the express entry system. Now, mind you, express entry is just a system. It's not a program. Express entry has 3 programs in the system. That is your Federal Skilled Worker Program, Canadian Experience Class, and Federal Skilled Trade Categories Program. These are the only 3 programs. So when it talks about expanding within the express entry system, it could basically mean a couple of things. One, that they may launch another program which will be within the purview of the express entry system, which would be targeting the international students and foreign workers. Quite a possibility. Number 2 would be that they may start conducting CEC specific draws like they have already been doing, and probably alternate between CECs and Federal Skilled Worker, something on that sort. So they will do 1 draw each month for Federal Skilled Worker, 1 draw each month for CEC, on something of that sort. Again, these are all my assumptions, my opinion. This is not something which has been announced. This is something which you have to wait and see. But we're just sort of taking a shot and seeing what it would be, because all that it says is expanding immigration pathways, or rather giving more pathways within the express entry system. So third could basically be giving an increased points within for the factors. So right now you have 35 points that you get for 1 year of work experience, for Canadian work experience. For the first year of work experience, you get 35 points. If you're married, you get 40 points. If you're single or unmarried, and that's the CEC, Canadian Experience Class points you get for the first year. There could be a possibility that the points are increased for the factor. There could be a possibility that the points are increased for the Canadian education within the system. So that gives you a bit more advantage and hence pushes you forward in the whole express entry pool. But the biggest, so for a lot of people this is a great hit, though we do not know which direction this is going to go. But by and large, the fact that they are again considering international students and foreign workers in Canada, and giving them some sort of pathway to formalize their status again, it's a hit for them. But it's a big miss for everybody else. I mean, so all everybody who has been waiting for all this time, the federal skilled workers, I mean, waiting for the draws, waiting for the processing to happen, waiting for the backlogs, for them it has only been wait. Just the only thing that has been demanded out of them is patience. Like, what is going on? I mean, like, what? Yes, the whole immigration system is founded on the factor that it's in the best, whatever is decided, whatever happens, whatever is invited is in the best interest of the country and its citizens and its residents. Yes, no doubt about it. It will always be that, and it should always be that, because that is what every country's mandate is. However, okay, there is also the credibility of the whole immigration system. Right now, you are inviting people. You have set up this program and you have told people that if you do this, and this, and you create your ExpressEntry profile, we are conducting draws. We will continue to conduct draws. And if you're invited, we will give you this option. This is the understanding that everybody has when they sign up for IELTS, when they sign up for their ECAs, for their WESs, and then prepare their documentation, and then they just wait. And 23rd of December last year was the last all program draw. We are on the 18th right now. We're just about at the cusp of 1 year to complete. Mind you, there is a Wednesday coming on the 22nd. Is it Wednesday on 22nd? Let me just check that. Yes, we have a Wednesday on the 22nd of December, obviously. And would IRCC surprise us with a draw, or would they sort of mark it as a 1 year anniversary milestone? Something that we want to wait and watch. Okay, but I really hope that there is something that they do about it. So for me, that's a big miss. I am not saying, okay, mind you, I'm not saying that don't give priority to these people, don't give priority to that. I'm saying have an option for people who are outside Canada as well, because that was the fundamental program that you started with. In ExpressEntry, you already are giving advantage to people who have Canadian work experience. In ExpressEntry, you already are giving advantage to people who have Canadian education, because you give them additional factor points. Okay. If you have to increase the points, well, go ahead and increase the points. But at the same time, maintain the integrity of the immigration system, whereby the whole system was made on these factor points, whereby you have decided to invite the best suited candidates to Canada. So again, for me, this is a bit of a miss, but in the best interests of the country, if they're talking about expanding the pathways, which is also fine, the idea would just be to sort of create a bit of a balance so that the both sides have equal opportunity or a crack at it. Okay, and that's about it. It's not about fair or unfair. I mean, I've heard this debate plenty of times. I've made a couple of videos on this as well. It's not that people inside Canada are better or people outside Canada don't deserve it or they do not deserve it or they are fair. It's not about fair or unfair. At the end of the day, everybody wants a crack at it. Everybody wants to take a sort of, pursue their aspiration of wanting to land themselves in Canada, become permanent residents. Some people chose the pathway and identified the pathway of becoming an international student working in Canada early. So you have to give it to them. You have to sort of, understand the fact that they did start their journey much ahead. They spent 1 year, 2 year, 3 years getting to Canada as an international student, then spent 1 year, 2 years getting the Canadian work experience, and now this is their chance of getting their journey. However, people who did not get there, they were banking on the fact that Canada said that yes, this is the system, these are the points, this is what you will get. So this is one thing I hate seeing even on our Facebook groups is this tiff that is between this unnecessarily categorization which has been created between CEC and FSW. So this for me is not nice. I think both, rather all groups of people equally deserve a shot at it. It's just that the factor points need to be communicated and identified well. So for me, this was a bit of a miss that it was not identified or nothing specific was mentioned or identified as far as all other programs are concerned. Again, fair enough. Then what is also a miss for me is that nothing has been mentioned about communication. All through the pandemic, all through the whole year or two rather, 2020 and 2021, while they came out very quickly with the travel related information, travel related communication, because that had to be put in force immediately, not once did they come out and say anything about what's happening with the programs. Why are they doing what they're doing? Why are they not doing what they are not doing? When will they do? For example, they suddenly woke up one day and stopped conducting federal skilled worker draws and only did CEC draws, which is fine. Then when CEC started, putting all their hopes on it because they saw more and more CEC draws happening, suddenly they stopped doing CEC draws again, and then they went back to doing the all program draws. Then they conducted that until 23rd of December, and again, bang, started 2021, and there were no more, all program draws, and again we went back to CEC draws. CEC draws continued, and there was those big draws that happened, and then again, come 14th of September onwards, there is no CEC draws. There are so many CEC candidates. There are so many people in Canada who right now are losing status because they've completed the Canadian work experience. Their work permits are expiring. They do not have any option. They do not know what exactly to be done. Is there going to be a draw? Is there not going to be a draw? Should they stay in Canada? Should they become visitors? Should they leave Canada? There is so much of unknown and uncertainty, and it is only IRCC, it is only them, the Canadian government, which is creating this unknown and this uncertainty and this, what should a person do? All right. So then if the people then become undocumented, they go out of status, they become illegal in their statuses, then who do you blame, right? And therefore, for me, one big miss has been that there is no communication, the lack of communication, the lack of clarity. I was hoping that this should get put into the mandate, that these kind of information, this kind of details should be communicated so that there is a more transparent system, there is a better, clear understanding of what's happening, what's going on, so that people can get on with their lives. They know what to do. Right now, people are still stuck with their backlogs. They do not know what to expect. They do not know when it's going to happen. They do not know when not to renew your lease agreements. They do not know when to stop sending children to school. They do not know should they pay for one more year of school's fee, of children's fee, or do they resign from their job? Do they give notice? Do they not give notice? When do they move? So much of uncertainty. So I was really hoping for some more clarity, some more clear indication of the transparency within the system. But for me that was a big miss. I mean, I was hoping to see some more clear mandate in terms of the direction that hopefully these people will take. But again, that's me. That's just me whining away and ranting away. But that's what I do, right? What else have I got? Yeah, that's just about it. Yeah, of course, there was another miss for me. I was also expecting to see a federal level immigration business immigration program. You see, now there is no federal level business immigration program. The last was stopped or abolished or sort of cancelled in 2014. From there on, there has been no federal level business immigration program. There are two. One is the startup visa, which for me is more of a hit and a miss. Again, it's largely not very successful. And the second one is the self-employed stream, which I will not call it as a business immigration program per se, because it targets people who are self-employed, yes, but it doesn't really put any criteria whether these people will come and invest in Canada. Will they create more jobs? Will they sort of be entrepreneurs once they come in Canada? So yeah, the self-employed category for me doesn't really do it. A startup visa definitely doesn't do it because the success rate is low. The quota is very low. The application processing times are like ridiculous at this point of time. They already have enough applications in the pipeline for startup visa to cover next 6-7 years of quota. So I mean, I do not know when and what is going to happen with the business immigration. So considering that Canada wants to sort of improve their economy, they want to sort of take everybody onto the pathway of recovery, of COVID recovery, and create more jobs, etc., etc., etc. The idea would have been to see a bit more in terms of business immigration. So for me, again, that's another miss I would have liked to see. So that's basically it from my side in terms of the hits and misses and the points and the factors that I want to talk to you about. I can now safely move on to the question and answer. I know a lot of you have been posting your questions, but before we get on to that, first things first, let's Hulk smash the like buttons. I want to see those likes going up so that this video gets out to more and more and more people. And if you still haven't subscribed to the channel, I wanna see you here. Click on the link, click on the subscribe button, get the subscribe sorted so that we see those numbers going up. Once again, if you're not following us on Instagram, then that's the link, and that's the one for TikTok. And obviously, if you want to make a one-on-one appointment with me, then that's the link in, so we can talk more in detail, understand what your case is, what your application is all about, and then look at that. But let's get on with some questions here. There is plenty here. Okay, let's take it from the top and see how many we can look at. Karthi says, when is the deadline for September intake for Indian students? Well, I don't know what kind of deadline are you? Are you talking about the admissions deadline? Are you talking about the visa deadline? September intake is next year. We are still almost 9 months away for the September intake. So you could very comfortably submit your application in the month of March, April, and still have a good shot at getting an approval much in time for your September intake. So yeah, always go with a 4-5 months buffer before the intake as the ideal time to submit an application. Okay. Saskatchewan OID nomination received. When will AOR come? The AORs are delayed. You could look at probably, I don't know, between 4 to 6 months, as yeah, that's probably the timeline you could look at. But expect non-express entry PR applications to take anywhere between 2 to 3 years, probably even more at this point of time. They are really, really suffering in this whole backlogs. But yeah, that is what is happening. Processing time for sponsoring wife in terms of spousal sponsorship applications. Of the applications we have submitted recently, I have seen very quick processing actually. My fastest one was processed within 6 months, and but on an average 8 to 9 months is something which I've been seeing quite frequently. But average, if you want, on a very, very big average, then I think 1.5 years is something which you could expect. Again, it all depends on your application, depends on what information is there, not there, missing, added, what kind of complexities are there or not there. But yeah, on a very normal application with nothing critical there, I would say that you'd be fine. There shouldn't be an issue there at all. Okay, we lost the questions again. Sorry, let me just scroll up. Okay. I'm in Brampton with closed work permit. Can I apply now for study permit? Yes, of course, you can apply for a study permit. There is no problem with that. Can you tell us more about FSW Draws reinitiating? Well, I can't, because there is absolutely no information or no understanding as to how and what or when the FSW draws would. I mean, if you ask me what my hopes are, I mean, I'm hoping to see a draw on Wednesday, because that happens to be 1 year anniversary for the all program draw. Last year it was 23rd of December. This year the Wednesday is on 22nd of December. Would IRCC surprise us? Not surprise us. At least, you know, a Christmas gift, at least a goodbye 2021 gift. I'm hoping and praying that happens. But by and large, with the understanding that they are no longer going to have their entire focus and attention on in-Canada applications, that is what was communicated earlier. I would expect first quarter of next year to see the reinitiation, or rather restart or resumption of the FSW draws or all program draws. I have a feeling when they start with the draws, it would probably initially be CEC. And the reason why I'm saying that is because they put a hold on the draws. A lot of people who are inside Canada, they have gone out of status. So they have lost their status, or are on the verge of losing their status, or are basically panicking right now and don't know what to do with their status. So for them, that would definitely be a priority. They have also indicated that they are looking to reduce their economic program inventory by at least 50%. So considering they were handling about 16,000 applications per month, and they were inside of 100,000 applications that were in their inventory, which were not processed. I am thinking by probably Feb is something when they should start, definitely, if that is their ideology, if that is what they want. By now I think they definitely should have reduced a lot of their inventory. Now, processing inventory does not necessarily mean that the passport requests have been issued. Processing inventory largely has to do with the fact of whether the assessment or the eligibility criteria of the main application has been processed, and all it is pending for is the security clearance. So that would be considered as them having processed their inventory. Okay, so going with that, I'm hoping and expecting that they should definitely start resuming all program draws by as soon as we hit 2022. So I should start hoping and praying again for Jan to start, and probably that is something that I would be looking at. But yeah, again, it's all speculation, it's all opinion based, because there is otherwise no way to establish when and how they'll do it. That's been the pet peeve, right? Because there is no clarity. They have never communicated anything about any of these factors at all. Okay. Manish says, questions regarding people in Canada opting for online courses. Would it impact PGWP in any ways? Actually, the college is asking, forcing to opt in-person classes. No, not at all. Because IRCC has already made it clear that if you are even outside Canada and studying online, wait until August, you will still be considered eligible for your postgraduate work permit. So there is no problem with that at all. Simrit says, got AOR in India, recently came to Australia on work permit, will stay here after raising web form informing change of address. Do I need to submit Australia PCC now? No, you do not need to submit your Australia PCC. You just need to inform them about your change of address. That's all that's going to happen. When are the ExpressEntry gonna start? We already discussed about that. Family PR outline, I have passed medical 1 month earlier after documents request. Why I haven't received biometrics request? Is it possible that when I applied for German visit visa, well, I do not know what you mean by German visit visa. There is no connection to that. And why you haven't received biometric request? They would definitely request you for your biometrics at some point of time. There is no specific timelines that are followed, or there is no milestones that they will follow. They would definitely need to do your biometrics in order for them to complete the information sharing, in order for them to complete the criminality, in order for them to complete the security checks. So, so rest assured, you will get that. I mean, you will be asked for it. Can you take a talk about job change, quitting, job post AOR? Is it necessary to inform IRCC about the same? Well, if you are an applicant whose invitation or whose application is not based on employment or a job offer in Canada, or having received from an employer in Canada, then you are not obligated to inform about change of job. So if you're outside Canada, you've never worked in Canada, you don't have Canadian job offer, and none of that was a criteria based on which you received your nomination or based on which you received your ITA for your permanent residence. And if you change your job, you get promoted, you leave your job, you sit at home, you don't do anything, none of this you're not obligated to inform about any of this to IRCC. So that's you can always refer back to your AOR, okay, your acknowledgement of receipt that you received after you've completed your submission of application. It will tell you exactly what you need to inform IRCC about. Okay, so just follow that to the T and you'll be good. Okay, let's see this. Ankit says, 1 year of Canadian work experience completes February 18th. How long before can I create ExpressEntry profile? Well, if you're eligible now, create it now. But technically, in the month of January, you should be able to create your ExpressEntry profile, because the system works in such a manner that it calculates your completion of work experience 1 month before the actual completion date. So yes, by all means, create it in January if you're not already eligible. Okay, Rajkumar says, I have been vaccinated with CanSino vaccine, but it is not approved by Canada. Will this affect my PR application or process time? No, it will not affect your PR application or the processing time. Okay, Aritra says, in case of study visa, is having an active education loan account helps in establishing connection to the home country, or prove that the person will return to home country after education is complete? Absolutely not, because it's an education loan. I mean, if you have an asset, you have a reason or a compelling reason to return back. If you have a liability, how is that a tie to your home country? How is that how is that something that will make you return back to your home country? I mean, think about it, right? Mahesh says, my CRS score is 474. My birthday is on 31st of May. My result will expire. Do you think I should try any other option? Well, always, if you have any other option, always try for them. Otherwise, you can always wait till the early next year. You will see when the draws will start, uh, and then take a call. Himani says, after AOR, I moved to a UK on work permit, except letting them know of change of address. Do I have to submit UK PCC? No, you don't need to submit UK PCC unless IRCC asks for it. Once we land as Ontario PR, can we work for a company in Ontario with temporary transfers to some other province? Base reporting location will be Mississauga, but we will be working from a client location. Well, yes, you can do that, but your obligation is to live in Ontario, reside in Ontario. That is what you should be aiming at. If you're working remotely, that's fine, but the idea should be that you should, if it's a temporary positioning outside the province, fine. As long as you complete the provision, I mean, the temporary job posting and then come back to the province, that's absolutely fine. There is no problem with that. The idea should be for you to maintain your residence in the province. Excuse me. Temporary visitors visa for spouses waiting for PR process. What? I mean, what is the question there? Ramanathan says, any chance of 40 plus people to get Canadian PR, EEPNP or MNP? Yes, as if you can get a job offer from an employer in Canada, then you have great opportunity, great chance to get your PR. What are the pros and cons of soft landing? Is there any official documentation or unofficial one on the same? No, there is no official documentation. It's an unofficial term. I mean, soft landing basically means you come to Canada, activate your permanent resident status, and return back to complete your obligations. There are pros and there are no cons of it. I mean, it's a choice. As far as Canada is concerned, you must maintain your residency obligation, which is you must reside in Canada for 730 days in a current 5-year period. As long as you maintain that, Canada doesn't care whether you live there, you don't live there, what you do, what you don't do. It's entirely your choice. That is the reason Canada is beautiful, because they give you complete freedom. Do what you want to do, whatever you want to do, however you want to do. As long as you maintain your residency obligation within the province, you pay your taxes, you are a law-abiding individual, then that's good. So pros and cons of soft landing? No, there are no pros and there are no cons. It is your convenience, your choice. Do as you wish in terms of your soft landing. No problem with that. If we get PR with myself, family, kids, and come to India, since Canada needs more immigrants, my kids are very young. I don't see anything in terms of question. As I said, if you're 40 plus, if you can get a job offer from an employer in Canada, you could have a good pathway to come, in Canada. Okay. Vishal says, once we just did this. Someone says, my closed work permit and work visa stamped on passport is valid until 2022. Now I've got bridge open work permit. Do I need TRV, or my old visa is valid if I'm planning to move out of Canada? Your old visa is valid. There is no problem. And it is valid till 2022. Whenever you travel in and out of Canada, carry both your passports, because you will still need to show your visa if you return back to Canada using that visa. But obviously you'll need a new you will have a new passport as well, right? So Nidhe says, I have a master's degree. Can I come to Canada for PGD, advanced diploma in supply chain, 1 year, 2 year programs? 2 year program is good. Yeah. Well, I mean, if you have a master's degree, that's absolutely fine. If you choose to study in Canada, you should identify a program which would be considered as a progression. Now, what would be considered as a progression? Just because you've done a master's, do you do a high school diploma, or you do a diploma where the basic requirement is only high school diploma? No. So you would do a program where basically the requirement would be at least a university degree or a bachelor's degree as an entry level for that particular program. That is one. Number two, the curriculum or the program should be such that it would be considered as a specialization of something that you're currently doing, or currently what you have studied in the past. So when you have studied in the past, you have done a master's degree, let's say in management, or you have done master's degree in science. Now you want to do advanced diploma in artificial intelligence. You want to do advanced diploma in cybersecurity. You want to do advanced diploma in machine learning, and then these are specific subject specializations in which you wish to do an advanced diploma, or you want to do a graduate diploma, or you want to do a 2 year diploma. Makes sense. You need to create a progression plan or a career study plan, which shows that by completing this specialized program, it will greatly benefit you in your career, in your job, in your occupation, in your industry, and hence you're studying this. Okay, if someone has hepatitis B, got cured 10 years ago, was never checked, it never came up in his medical, can he get refused? No, not really. What will matter is what is your current condition and is this situation active or dormant, or what is the current viral load? But a doctor would be in a better position to explain this to you. Noro says, thanks for your hard work. Hope you're fine. Whether Chinook decides both TR to PR pathways and praying for you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Chinook is a artificial intelligence tool, which is Excel based, a program tool, which is being applied by various visa offices, including largely, this is a big happening in India and China, but this is mainly to do with your TRVs, your temporary residence visas. As far as TR to PRs are concerned, they are being handled and being processed by application offices or the visa offices in Canada, and these are permanent residence applications, and therefore Chinook has nothing to do with this. Okay, I have started my own business after my. Oh, we just completed this question, right, for you. Okay. Venus says, does the new mandate regarding the family reunification applies to FSW individual candidates who have spouses as Canadian PR? Well, it doesn't. It doesn't sort of. So the mandate letter talks about family reunification. It talks about not that you have an FSW application and you have a Canadian PR, so your FSW application will be processed faster. No, the whole family reunification is surrounding the sponsorship application, the spousal sponsorship applications, whether the family class or a spouse and common law partner in Canada class, and that these applications need to be processed faster. And the spouses who are outside Canada, who are the foreign nationals, they should be given some sort of a temporary residence or temporary work permit or work permit to come to Canada or a visit to come to Canada or some temporary residence visa. That pathway has to be created. And that is what the whole mandate letter talks about. It doesn't talk about other application types or to process them faster just because you have a spouse who's in Canada. No. Okay. Same questions coming up again. Peter says, my closed work permit. Oh, we see, as I said, same questions coming up again. Will the Canadian government update the existing annual targets for the coming years? If so, will the targets go up? Yes, 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 absolutely. I mean, if you're asking me if the targets for 2022 and 2023 will go up, I don't think they would increase these immediate targets. But yeah, 2024 is definitely going to go up. There is always a, you see, now the targets are not a fixed number. It's not like they have to achieve that exact number because there's a lot of dynamic ratio within this program, within the targets. There are so many factors that, identify whether they will achieve the targets or how will they achieve the targets or when they will achieve the targets. In the sense, like the people that they will formalize or finalize now, these people may not enter Canada within that same year. They could enter Canada the following year. So it's very difficult for them to identify who has been finalized. When will the people who have been finalized at a time in the year, when will they come to Canada? So because of the validity period of their visas. So I definitely expect the numbers to go up. Everything indicates that the numbers will go up. Liberals have been very, very pro-immigration, pro-increasing the quotas, pro-increasing the numbers. So I definitely see the numbers going up. No doubt about it. Aisha says, my father is going to apply for a visit visa as his early one expired. So the new portal, it asks for reason for travel. Does he have to unite or none? Or as I'm on a PGW? Well, I mean, if you're asking me what should be the reason to travel, then that comes from you. I mean, only you can tell me what is the reason for the person to travel. I mean, it has to be an individual thing. It's unique to your situation. So whatever is the reason for your father to travel, that becomes the explanation you will give in the application. Provide an invitation letter from you, provide the information, and that's the way to go. Okay, upfront medicals updated 2 weeks back status on GCMS security not started, rest all pass. In opinion, when can I expect PPR? I can't tell you at this point of time. There are a lot of applications being processed. You did your medicals upfront. At the time when your application comes up in the queue for processing, I guess that's when you will get, because at this point of time there are so many applications which are still pending and they are being processed. There is no specific queue that is being followed, or rather we cannot see the queue. I'm sure there is some sort of process that they are following, but there is no specific way of identifying, okay, this is the application, this is how much time it will take, this is the AOR, and this is when this person should get it. There is no clear guiding timeline as such for something like that. They are finalizing 14,000 CEC, 1,000 FSW applications per month. Assuming they are doing it to meet annual target, can we assume more FSW applications processing per month? Yes, of course we can assume. I mean, very quickly they will be done with all the CEC backlog. There won't be there any. I mean, so once the CEC backlog is cleared, all this resources that they have who can finalize these applications quickly, I'm sure they will start picking up the FSW applications and getting on with it. Because remember, reducing the application processing times and the backlogs is the number one priority on the mandate. So I see that coming up very, very quickly. Considering the mandate letters hint at more pathways for students and temporary workers, does it make sense to ditch PR application progress, go for study route? First of all, it is not talking about more pathways. It is talking about expanding within the ExpressEntry system. So first you need to wait and watch what is being done instead of just ditching all the PR application in progress and going to the study route. Also, you have to understand in which process is your PR application. I mean, are you sitting at a very high score in the federal skilled worker pool, or are you struggling to get a high score? If you're struggling to get a high score, and if you think study is something which you wish to take as an option, yes, of course, that could possibly be an option. But you should. It has to be a judgment call. What is your current status? What is your current score? Can you improve the score? Can you increase the score? If not, would you want to come to Canada as a student? Does that make any logical sense? What about the affordability? What about the viability? Do you want to really spend that much of money? So many factors. Would you rather come to Canada, study 1 year, and then have a crack at it? Or would you rather study French for 1 year in your home country, spend so much more less, but then have options in the Francophone streams, PNP Francophone streams, or improve your score with the French score? So think about it. So there is that option as well. Madhu, thank you for the super chat. I am an international student planning to come in Jan, but confused if I should come now or continue to study online from India. Come to Canada. You will always have a better crack at so many things. One, you can get on with your life. You can start your life. You can, get into the job market. You can start understanding how the job market operates. Also, you will get points for your Canadian education because you are inside Canada versus outside Canada. I mean, I would definitely say come and study in Canada. I know for a lot of people it doesn't make sense because they think about the expense factor. They think about the aspect that probably you're working. So if you continue to do your job outside Canada, that is income generation versus coming to Canada, no income generation and expense. You'll be spending money on your living expenses. So that is a decision you have to make, expense versus income kind of a thing. But if that is not the factor and it is just about you being there or here, then definitely Canada. One, you will, as I said, you will get into the job market, whether it's about finding a survival job, whether it is start getting yourself within the job market or the network that you will build, definitely in Canada. Plus the fact that you will get points for your education versus outside. Why we don't see any closed work permit applications final decision? Because they are part of the temporary residence visa backlog. And that backlog is at this point of time nearly 700,000. Can immigration consultants submit visit visa application of Pakistan, India from Canada? Yes, of course. I mean, we are immigration consultants and we handle applications for so many nationalities, including Pakistanis, including Indians, of course, from all over the world. So yeah, absolutely. I mean, as long as you are a licensed representative, authorized representative, you can represent your clients from anywhere in the world and you can process their applications or rather submit their applications from anywhere in the world. Main applicant received PPR but dependent in Canada with study visa. How to proceed for dependent application? Well, the dependent application will have to tell IRCC that they are inside Canada and request for the ECOPR after the main applicant who is outside Canada has landed in Canada or has activated their status in Canada. Can I do my soft landing after getting my PPR? If yes, how many days should I stay in Canada and return back? Well, first of all, yes, you can do your soft landing. Earlier, soft landing was discouraged because discretionary travel was being discouraged. Now there is no, discretionary travel has got no restrictions anymore. So therefore, soft landing has no problem anymore. Also, there is no exit immigration. So there is nobody at the exit checkpoint. There is nobody waiting for you at the exit of Canada to say, okay, why did you come only for so many days? Why are you going back? Show me your status. There's nobody there. So, nobody there to check if you're returning back where you're going. As far as how many days is concerned, that is entirely your choice. How many days do you, how many days do you want to stay in Canada? You make a decision, you make a choice. Is it expensive? Is it cheap? Can you afford it? Can you not afford it? Do you want to stay? Do you not want to stay? Do you want to do sightseeing? Do you want to sort of come and, figure out your job? Do you want to figure out just your SIN and your bank account? Do you just want to meet family and friends? Do you want to just, get the hang of the place? You make a decision, you make a choice, and then accordingly you choose. As far as the whole system is concerned, you could come out of the airport, take a U-turn, go up to the departure area, take a flight, and go back. and that's absolutely fine as well. There is no problem with that. Okay. Why is NDO not issuing PPR? Well, who told you NDO is not issuing PPR? I've got quite a few applications being processed from NDO. Yes, NDO is slow. Yes, NDO has got, it's a huge visa office, and they are handling a lot of different application types. Being very close to Afghanistan, they are also being in the middle of or thick of things as well. And whether we like it or not, they have been, they also are dealing with huge number of study permit applications. They're also dealing with huge number of other country applications that are surrounding them. So whether we like it or not, it's not that NDVO is not processing PPR. Similarly, Sydney, Nova Scotia is not processing PPR. Similarly, Montreal, Canada is not processing PPR. Vancouver is also not processing PPR. Paris is not processing PPR. Accra is not processing PPRs. What is it? London visa office is not processing PPR. So, what are you going to talk about? Every single visa office and say they're not processing PPRs? Yes, everybody is processing PPRs. But as we all know, collectively, there is a huge backlog. Collectively, they haven't been able to release all the passport requests. Collectively, lots of visa officers were reassigned to handle in Canada applications. So unless they go back to their original positions and start looking at what they were doing earlier, well, you would see the backlog, you would see the lag in the processing times. But are they not working? Are they not handling? Yes, they are. Are they not issuing PPRs? Yes, they are. It's just not, the numbers that we were looking for. It's just not that there's a huge speed, or rather you're not seeing chunks of it coming. Otherwise, yes, of course they're working. Of course they're issuing PPRs, and it's happening quite regularly. I have received 2 within the last week from New Delhi visa office. Okay, I know of several communication that I've been having with the New Delhi visa offices with regards to some of my other applications. So I know for a fact it's working. I know for a fact that it's ongoing. It's just not at the same speed as we would like to see. But yes, it's definitely happening. Seville, thank you for the super chat. Which IELTS is acceptable for study visa, academic or general? Well, both are acceptable at this point of time. Academic is more preferable, but at this point of time, academic or general, both would be acceptable. In the mandate letter, they said there will be visas for outland spouses waiting for PR, family reunification. No, they did not say anything of that sort. They said they are looking, or they should be looking at ways that when you apply for a spousal sponsorship application, it's different. It is just not under any economic program. It is a different program. Spousal sponsorship program is under the family class. And under that program, instead of separating the families, they should keep a provision whereby they can offer temporary residence visas to the spouses of the permanent residents or citizens, so that the family reunification could be promoted. So it doesn't apply to all application types. Okay, I'm seeing similar questions coming back. So, Ravinder Bal, why is NDVO not issuing PPR? Why it's not working? When can we expect NDVO working at good speed? Okay, same question. So, already answered, but thank you for the super chat. Amit Sharma says, should I straight away tell medical doctor about my baby's heart hold? Doctor said to wait for 6 months till the next ECO test. You should definitely tell the doctor about any existing or past health conditions and let them take a call. I am not a health practitioner. I absolutely cannot guide you or tell you anything about, I don't even know what is an ACO test. But as far as the condition is concerned, you should always tell the doctor whatever the current condition is or the condition has been in the past. Absolutely. Yuvraj says study visa approved in August, but attending online classes outside Canada. Okay, see, just doing the same questions. Okay. In the case of study visa, I'm having an active job seeker account. Do I need to declare the same in SOP? No, you don't need to declare it in SOP. Abid Sharma, thank you for the super chat. No question there. I'm sorry. Knew someone as anxious, not. Okay, don't know what that is about. Primary applicant in Gulf is collecting salary by cash, have a salary certificate from employer mentioning it is paid by cash. Will this be enough as they don't have any other document? Yes, that should be fine. Though in the Middle East, to be very honest, the salaries are no longer paid in cash. So it's always going to raise a question in terms of credibility. However, there is no, again, as far as the immigration law is concerned, there is no criteria in terms of the form or the method of the salary payment. As long as you can prove that the salary was paid, the remuneration was paid, it was a paid employment, paid job, then you're absolutely fine. There is no problem with it. Okay, lots of similar questions coming through. Madhu says, thank you for the super chat. Should I come or continue studies from Canada? What about 8 months in Canada for CRS? Well, as I just answered, if you could come to Canada, you should come to Canada. Definitely, there is no problem with it. Navros says, if a person is having a criminal background after being applied to TR to PR pathway, will it affect in granting PR? Yes, of course it will affect. I mean, having a criminal background is a definite, check. It affects the criminality or rather the admissibility requirement. So yes, of course it will definitely have an impact. Should I straight away tell medical doctor about my babies? Okay, yes, you should tell. I'm not sure. See, now again, we are again coming within the similar questions coming up. Awesome points. Can you elaborate more on the various francophone streams to get into Canada? Well, there are, okay, so there is a francophone initiative within the work permit stream that you could look at. Nova Scotia has a francophone stream. Saskatchewan gives up to 10 additional points for the francophones. Ontario has a separate francophone stream. There is a New Brunswick francophone, and under the new strategic initiative, they have another stream. So almost all provinces are gearing up or are sort of moving towards giving more points or some sort of a stream that would encourage francophones to come to Canada. So if you and not only that, ExpressEntry by itself, you could add 60-70 points in your ExpressEntry score just by with your French as a second language. So immense value in doing that. Absolutely. Okay, thank you everybody. I need to get out and see this beautiful city, the reason why I'm here. And we have been here for some time and we've been answering your questions. So thank you for joining in. We will do this again from our usual setup next week. Meanwhile, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Now here, subscribe, do that, subscribe button, hit the like button, because that is one way of getting the numbers, or rather the people to watch the video and get the same kind of information that you did get today. And if you're not following us on Instagram, then that is the link which you should get on with. And of course, there are so many questions which I got to and some of them which I didn't get to. If it was a detailed explanation that you were looking for, if you were looking for something to discuss in detail about your case so we can understand it better, then I would suggest that you make an appointment and then we can discuss that on 101 and then probably give you a better understanding or better guidance with that. So that's the link. Book an appointment and then we will be able to talk about it better. And yeah, that's the link for TikTok. And that's just about it from me today. And as I said, it's a great morning and the weather's looking nice. And I need to get on and start looking around and being in this place. That's the reason why I came here. But thank you for joining in. You've been a great audience once again. Take care, stay safe, and I shall see you next time.